guys, you notice, they'll give credit to the wicked niggas. The Lahab, Yeshaya, Kazak. Lahab and Yeshaya were wicked ass niggas. Yeah. Yeshaya. Now let's analyze Yeshaya. Yeshaya was a boaster, a braggart. He was proud. He was all about material things. He was materialistic. Okay.
Feminine. He's a feminine. He's in a hairdress. What grown man will be in a hairdress? Well, first of all, what nigga gonna have a Jerry curl in, after the 80s, in the 90s? Going into the 2000s. He probably still got a Jerry curl, S curl. Nigga getting his nails done and all this shit.
He had long fingernails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lahab. We know about Lahab. All you guys know about Lahab. Lahab was wicked as goddamn hell. He set up the Central Command. They were ripping brothers off. They had brothers in slavery on oil tables, taking sack days. Yashawan, who was Lahab's understudy, he was doing the same thing. All them guys were wicked. Aaron was all done. And General Yohana, you was amongst them. You see what I'm saying? You was amongst that Central Command doing all that wickedness. Making the garments for the Passover, $450 for a garment, and you were forcing brothers to buy them garments. So you guys, you mention those names, you give credit to them wicked niggas, which they're not even in the truth no more. Lahab went back in the world. Lahab is teaching that the white man can be saved. Yeshaya, well, I heard, Yeshaya took a break. He left from teaching and disappeared for years. Now I heard rumors that he got a school and he's teaching again. But he took a break. Where's Kazak? Where's Yashawan? Yashawan is down there in Atlanta, right? Talking about some shit about the white man to be saved and all that madness. Living in a nice plush house. You see what I'm saying? Where are these? You see? But back in the school, in the old One West days, how did we get the name of Yahweh? We learned it from back then. When I came into school, I was taught the name of the Most High was Yahweh, and his son's name was Yahweh Shai. Ariel used to push that name when he taught.
Yep.
Okay? All the top I'm going to come straight and say it. Even Lahab and Yeshaya and Kazak and Shah, and them, they used that name back then. When they was in their right mind, they used to push that name. That's how we learned it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? I just didn't wake up one day and the name, but the Lord could do that.
Yeah.
But 24 years ago, when I was taught this knowledge by certain other guys, they learned it from them elders of back then. I went to the school and I watched those men teach myself. I sat in all their classes. I sat in Yeshaya's classes. I sat in Lahab's classes. I sat in King Marshayan, Ariel's classes, Shah's classes, Kazak's classes. Right? You see what I'm saying? So I knew what they was teaching back then. So pretty much, if anybody, we're the ones that still sticking to what them guys taught us. We still pushing the name that they taught us. What the name of the Most High and His Son is. Okay? You guys are the ones that's negating that. So you're the ones that's really leaving off from what you was taught by the guys in One West. If anything, you're the renegades, man. You're the bootleg Israelites, man.
That's right. You got more. You got more.
Read it again, brother.
Yep.
Okay. It says, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language.
What's the language? What's the original language of the scriptures? The Hebrew. When Moses was committing those prophecies and the laws to write, and it was being written in Lashawan Kodash, Hebrew. The scriptures have more power when you when you utter forth the Hebrew.
Yeah.
You understand? You taking away, this English takes away from the power of the scriptures, man. But that's why we study the Hebrew. That's why we read from the Torah and the Tanakh.
Yep.
And we study the Hebrew to learn it. So we can really get the real truth. That's how we know the real breakdown of these scriptures, man. Because people just see us reading the English, right? On the streets, we read it, of course, because the majority of the people out here don't know no Hebrew.
Right.
But what they don't understand, we've studied the Hebrew.
We can read the Hebrew.
And we can read it. That's how we know that the real Jews are so-called black people. Because we know what it says in the Hebrew. That's how we can cut them so-called Jews. That's how we know that we are the Israelites and that them so-called whites are not the real Jews, because they're the wrong skin color, according to the scriptures, man.
Yeah.
Read on about it.
That was pretty much the.
But read the main point again.
Okay, and I got Romans 3 for you too.
Yeah, we're gonna read Romans 3 and 3.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
So that proves to you Israelites out there, all of you, you gotta bring out the Hebrew. Now Nate said we turn the Hebrew into a doctrine. This scripture cuts Nate cold.
Yeah.
That's a cold cut. Cut his head clean. Spiritually cuts his head clean off, man. Or any other of you guys talking about, look, man, you don't gotta be using that name, Yahweh Shai. So to that light-skinned brother in your house camp, that's why I read that scripture specifically for you. You gotta start using the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. I guarantee you, though, something. If you do that, let's say if your spirit works on you to start doing that, you're gonna get reprimanded by General Yohana or some of your other superiors, man. They gonna start getting that and say, look, man, brother, why you don't gotta use that name? They gonna come to you, whether they pull you to the side or whatever, but they gonna kind of come at you and be like, look, brother, just say Christ. I guarantee you, man.
Yeah, and we never said that you gotta know the Hebrew to be saved. You do gotta know the name of the Lord in the Hebrew, which is gonna be in the Hebrew. All right, but we never said you gotta know how to read. You know, because basically we're gonna get all of that back. What you think in the kingdom we're gonna be speaking English, which is a bastard language anyway? So the Lord is returning us to the Hebrew now. That's why right now the scriptures say we're rehearsing the righteous acts. So we got the Hebrew online classes, the shows. We study the Hebrew, we teach the Hebrew, we read the Hebrew. All right, but we're not as fluent or whatever as we were, because why? That's not the main language that we speak now. The main right. The scriptures say prophesy that we would discontinue from our heritage, which is a great point. And that cuts that dude bro polite talking about the Igbos, which he don't really even know about the Igbos.
He don't even know what the word Igbo means,
right,
man.
You want to speak about the Igbos? Y'all guys are new Hebrew. Y'all don't go back. First of all, we following the same doctrine that was written, the book that was written before your black ass was born, nigga. Okay, thousands of years before your black ass was born. So we basically just picking up where we left off at. All right, but the scripture said that we would discontinue from our heritage. So that's why that period in slavery, we didn't know who we were. We didn't know our nationality. We thought we was Africans, Afro-Americans, because that's what the so-called white man told us. Okay, that you was because they gathered some of us up from what? The western coast of Africa. But you guys act like that was the only place they got slaves from. Not all black people go back to Africa. Don't you know that a lot of the so-called blacks that came here as slaves came from Spain? So how do you fit that into your Afrocentric doctrine, your Africana studies? How do you fit that into that? All right, you had slaves coming from the Netherlands. How do you break that down? Bro, no light. You had slaves coming from Portugal. It wasn't just Africa. All right, that's where the bulk of the slaves came in, coming into the 1600s, but almost 100 years prior to that, you had slaves coming from all of these other countries in Europe.
That's right. Now, how did Negroes get up in Europe? What would blacks be doing up in Spain? Huh?
Netherlands.
Going back to the 1400s.
Yeah.
Because that's when the Borgia family started rising into power, in which the people that was up in Europe with right as the Borgia family was coming into power, the other ruling class families were black people, and in Spain still sitting on thrones right there in Spain.
Yep.
Some of those other popes they were all black. The people that was in them councils with Rodrigo, they were black people.
Yep.
And what they were doing, they were slowly gaining power.
That's right.
And they were enslaving some of those blacks in Europe and putting them and sending them over here.
That's right.
You had blacks coming straight from royal nobility going right into slavery in America.
That's
man.
facts. That's facts.
That's Look at Sullivan Northrop. He was like a chick that was living in a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for?
He was born as a
good lifestyle.
A good lifestyle. Right? A privileged position. And he went right from living as a Negro in a privileged position.
Yep, a free man.
And to being a slave. He had never been a slave in his life, but he ended up. So that proved you had Negroes coming from privilege, from nobility.
Yeah, because
going right in the chains, man.
Yeah, because when you check out his story, basically his grandfather, and that's where he got the name Northrop from some crackers that owned his grandfather, and basically his grandfather served under them, and when he died, he left in his will, you know, his plantation and his possessions. So therefore, Solomon Northrop's father, he grew up with that good lifestyle, right? And then he brought Solomon Northrop up. You know, he was a free man. You know, his grandfather had his freedom from back then, back in the 1700s, going into the 1800s, when Solomon Northrop was born, 1808 or something. But now what that shows you is that the Bible is true, because guess what? The curses were that you were going to go into slavery. And even though he was born a free man, his ass still went into slavery. You had a lot of jakes that were free men that were walking around here. What Esau would do back in those days in the 1800s or whatever, if you ventured off in certain areas and they caught you, or sometimes they go hunting for jakes.
It was kidnapping.
They
straight up kidnapped Solomon Northrop. He was kidnapped. They came into the north. Yeah. They actually came up into the north. Yeah. Beguiled them and got them to the south and kidnapped them. That was that movie brings it up.
Yep.
It was called Slave Catchers or Kidnappers, man.
That's right.
Kidnapping free Negroes from the north and bringing them into the south as slaves.
Making money off of them. Selling them.
Yeah.
You know? You got more on that?
No, that was it on that.
Okay, so I got this for you too. I guess if you want, we wrap on
that.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up on this scripture here. This is for Bro Polite and all them niggas, man.
This is the book of Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?
So these guys are trying to debunk the scriptures because they're saying it doesn't make sense. It's ludicrous. The Bible is not factual. It's contradictory. You guys don't have to believe in this. And Bro Polite, he gives out the spirit and all that, because it's not for you anywhere.
Yeah.
But just because you guys don't believe in the Bible and you want to debunk the Bible, that don't mean that the prophecies of the Bible ain't going to come to pass. And that don't mean that the fact that we're the Israelites and what we're teaching is the truth is not factual. It is. But you guys don't have to believe it, because all that madness and banter, all that rhetoric that you guys are pushing out, you can push it all out, but it's not going to stop the prophecies.
And it's not going to stop the elect from waking up.
That's right.
There's other brothers that see. That's why you got the spirits on other brothers. I was watching parts of the Texas video. And, you know, I mean, with the elders been making the videos, a couple other brothers is making videos. That's why brothers is coming out exposing you guys, man. You know, so it says, shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar.
So them guys are all a bunch of liars, and they are liars, because all that madness that they're talking is lies. Bro Polite, Sergeant